Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Monday. It's May 21st. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And just a couple of things before we get started today. Let me get my calendar open here. I believe next Monday is Memorial Day. I haven't looked at the calendar, so I'm not sure if that's a full trading day or not. So we may we may have a real short week that week. I actually leave for my annual trip to Brazil. I'll be leaving on June the 1st and be gone through the 10th. So make sure you make note of that. So you won't be looking for any chart lessons from the 4th through the 8th. There will be none. And actually, normally, sometimes we have problems come with those flights, overnight flights. So it could be that it goes into Monday, but uh, we're supposed to be back Sunday, and if we do, I'll be back in the office Monday. So I'll be ready to get back on my regular schedule by then. But just make note of that. I'll check when sometime this week on the 28th, Memorial Day, to see if that's going to be a trading day or not. And just make note that June 1st through June 10th, I'll be gone. So that'll take me out of, that'll be, mean I'll be on vacation trading wise from the 4th through the 8th. So no trades that week. So anyway, just make note of that, and I'll remind you as we get closer. But I like to give people a heads up, so in case I slips on my mind, I don't spring it on you the last second. But uh, interesting trading day today. We had this gap open, and we just went sideways all day. Normally prices will try to fill that gap rather quickly, but we couldn't do it today. We didn't really go much higher, but we just went sideways. And you can see prices going up. Most of your resistance is right here. We did have a little failed break higher, and then most of your supports down here. We only came back down and really tested that one more time, and we actually made a little higher low there. So that would have been there was a couple opportunities to get long there, a couple opportunities to get short. Um, all these trades are relatively straightforward, except maybe right in here because this really looks like it's setting up to be a range, although the bias is still up at this point. So when you get this second entry, uh, actually this is not, this is like a little breakout pullback, but it's a higher low really is what it is. You had a little failed break lower. You don't have a very good signal bar there, and then you get the breakout pullback that gives you a higher low right off the EMA and right off the support resistance line. And there was just enough room to get out, so I like that one. We'll talk about it when we get to it. But let me back out a little bit. We'll talk about the trades. It won't take long today because there weren't a lot of them. When I came in, prices had made two legs. It's very clear, two legs down there, one leg, a little correction, then a second leg. And then we're moving up. You get a first entry short, and then you get a second entry short that fails, and it bounces right off that possible trend line, EMA. That's a great place to go long. That works out really nicely. It takes off. And of course, that runs us straight up to the other high. And you really don't get another chance to enter. You don't want to enter right here because you're right into the highs, even though it would have worked. You don't know that. And same thing here. Um, you don't want to be entering right there, especially that close to the highs, unless you have enough room. Of course, you would have had enough room to enter there, assuming that's not there. And we actually get a little overshoot here. So, and then it comes back down. You actually get a first entry, then a second entry. Because of this overshoot and the fact that we got a little bit of congestion right here as well. Notice that resistance right there, and you don't have room to get out before getting back to that high. Normally, I wouldn't be too concerned about that if we hadn't had this overshoot up here, and the fact that this doesn't look like a range day, because now if it is, we're probably headed to the lower side. So you want to wait on a higher low here, and you actually make another lower low. There's actually a failed second entry long here too, but again, you don't have enough room to get out, and this is looking very range-like. So I don't like that short either. It is basically a double top with a little tick higher, but and it would have worked, but I just think you're better off waiting just to make sure that you need a little breakout pullback short or breakout pullback long. You need you basically need a lower high to go short or a lower high or a higher low to go long. Make sure I said that right, because sometimes that gets confusing. Yeah, you'd want a lower high to go short or a higher low to go long. And you don't get that till here. Notice how you get that little failed break below the double bottom there. I actually would have moved that down a little later. And you get that failed break lower, and you push right on through, and you pull back, and you test that, the EMA, and you get that higher low right there. Just make sure you got enough room to get out, and if you do, I like going long there. And you actually get a failed second entry short right here, but that's at the high of the day. You've already had a failed breakout. I'd be looking for a short up here, not getting long that far away from the EMA. And notice it would have failed quickly and reversed on you. And then you get of course I made this one green because this is a little aggressive trying to pick tops. You're almost always better, make sure you hear this, you're almost always better to wait on a lower high on a failed breakout or a reversal pattern. And so, but sometimes you'll catch a major high, or if it's a fail out the bottom, a major low, and you're a long way away from the EMA here, and you got a little tiny bar, so it's fairly low risk. I like risking those a lot of times. On your lower high here, you're just right back into the support resistance, the EMA. I don't like that one, but when it pushes on through and comes back underneath, and it's below the EMA, below the support resistance line, the overnight high there, and it confirms our trend line on the third touch. Lots of reasons to like that one. So I like going short there, and hopefully you catch this one all the way to the other side. But that's a nice reversal pattern. Failed second entry long. Confirmation of the trend line. Relatively bearish bar. It didn't quite close on its low, but I think that's close enough. You might let it break lower and drop a limit order in, see if you can get a little better entry, but you're better off just to put a sell stop right there and let it go. And you don't know that it's going to take off like this, because here's your trend line, and then all of a sudden the bottom just falls out of it. And you get a little break of that steeper one here, move to a new low, and then it reverses. You don't have a good enough bar to be, and we're not quite to the lows yet, so I wouldn't be risking a long on this one. If it was a failed break lower, maybe, but you get a higher low here, and you still got plenty of room back to the EMA. So now I like that one to go long. And then you get your real reversal right there, and it actually makes one more little move back and just confirms that trend line in the EMA one more time. And if you're not already in here, you can get in here, or you could even add on. I even like adding on there. That's one of those free gimmies almost. And maybe the reason that it came back again is it didn't quite make the trend line right there. And a lot of your smarter traders probably want to wait and see it bounce off that trend line again. And when it breaks lower and then turns, it goes right out the other side. Just have your buy stop right there and look at it go. Because you wouldn't have had time to get long above this bar, and it's awfully big too. So if you didn't get long right there, you probably missed that trade. And then of course it comes back. You get a break outside. That's your first close. You get a higher low here, but that's a relatively bearish bar. That one's a little bit bullish, but it's inside. I would just skip that entry. I don't think, if it would have broke lower and then turned up, maybe, but I don't like going long right there. It's just too risky. It moves up, turns down again right off that overnight high level to the tick. Gives you a big bearish reversal bar, a little bit away from the EMA. You've had your close outside, a couple of moves up. Again, you might risk that one. Again, your lower high is right into the EMA and not a very good signal bar. And then you get that. This is not a perfect reversal. I like to see it on the other side, but we just came off the high and everything else is in place. So when it breaks higher and turns and goes out the other side, I'd be okay having a sell stop sitting right there. And you really hope this one goes all the way to the lower side, but it just went flat after that. It's not much happened in the afternoon. So anyway, that's what I saw today. Fairly straightforward day. If you just followed the short-term trends up and down, you shouldn't have. The only place that might have got a little confusing was right in here. You could have got tripped up. You might, even if you treated that as a failed second entry long, you would have had just enough to get out. But if you'd have gone long there on that second entry, I think it would have been you would have only got 4 ticks, and it would have been you would have bounced off your limit order a few times, probably not got filled, and then got stopped out right there because it went a couple of ticks lower. So that might have been the only place that was a little bit confusing. But other than that, everything else was fairly straightforward. So, and if you did get stopped out there by going long, not much you could do. When that ended as basically a bearish bar, and then you got another bearish bar, and it broke lower right there, I'd probably exit. Although usually when you start monkeying with your trades, you'll wish you hadn't have. So it's one of those issues where if you got it wrong, you probably just got it wrong. So, but other than that, it was really relatively straightforward today. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow, but I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.